Hi, I'm Starlight Bricks, and this is my review on LEGO set 75376, the Star Wars Tantive IV. This set is rated at ages 18 and up and includes 654 pieces. Now, this is not my first time reviewing this LEGO set. I just tried making my first review on this set just recently, and it ended up being over 25 minutes long. So, we're going to try to make a shortened version. So first and foremost, this set was actually released in 2024 as part of the 25 years of LEGO Star Wars Anniversary set lineup, as you can tell by both the icon in the top right corner along with the blue box, the blue metallic design on the bottom of the box. This set, yes, it is part of 25 anniversaries, is part of a different subline called the Starship Collection. Why it's not called mini scale, we don't really know, but Starship Collection is still a cool name nonetheless. Knowing the fact that some parts of my box are a little dinged up because Walmart can't ship anything to save their lives. As cool as our plain black box design is with a cool ship, let's see what the actual ship looks like. If you're wondering, all the set includes the actual physical mini-scale model, a stand for your said model, and along with an exclusive 25th anniversary brick. It's not just exclusive to the set, but just to the wave as a whole. Before we actually get to our physical model here, let's talk about the stand that, well, holds up the model. This is a very nice sturdy stand. It's the same as all the other mini scale sets, making it very uniform in that manner. With the grill bits, you're allowed to actually take them off, and then you can put them either just throw them away, well, not throw them away, but just get rid of them, or you can actually put them on the top of the sign there. And that's where you can either put your brick or a minifig or whatever you really want to. So the designers kind of left that open to what you want to do with it. On the top of the stand can be always unique to whatever the set is. In this case, it is two pegs that go upwards into the bottom of the ship. And I'll quickly, briefly show that right here. That there is two holes on the bottom, which actually it actually makes a lot more sense in this case, is that you are actually allowed to, well, able to kind of switch the model's direction, so you can either go to facing it towards the right, or you can take it off the stand and then put it on so it faces the left. Surprisingly, in both, thankfully, they included a printed on display plaque, which is just says LEGO Star Wars, and then underneath it says Tantive IV. Alright, now this is our beautiful CR-90 Korean Corvette, the Tantive IV. This model is good. Honestly, it's great from front to back. Even on the bottom, it looks pretty decent, except for the one part of the middle. Kind of wish there's something more there. But just overall, you can hold it without the stand. It can lay on the ground without the stand. So you don't really need the stand. It just obviously makes the set look even better. The overall look, though, is definitely a good, but not great. It's not great because there's some things that definitely could be changed and worked on and workshopped. But there's so many good elements to it that it's definitely just such a really good model. It's really, really good, but it's not perfect. Alright, well, we're going to start with the cockpit here, the head of the ship. The shaping of it is really well done. I like the color and part usage that was used. I just wish it was bigger. The overall design, very happy with. It looks like the head of it, except for the fact there's no real viewport. However, I really like the part usage. Like I said, it looks like a very nice cockpit, or whatever you want to call it, bridge, technically. Another good thing with the cockpit is that they used a red circular tile at the end of the cockpit, and instead of it being printed on, which we all know, as much as we went printed the parts, I just know that LEGO would mess it up and it would look very pinkish. But I'm really glad that they used the red tile and the white sticker, so you can actually get that red circle design at the end of the bridge. Next, well, I guess you can call it the neck. It looks good. I really like the shaping and the angles they used and the super big slope on top, which is accurate. I just wish the cockpit was a little bit bigger so it goes and invades that space, and I feel like that would have fixed the model. Now this middle section right here is also extremely well done, whatever the chest of the ship, as you can probably say. This includes our 4 major turrets on the top, which are loose and can fall off, but they are posable at least, so that's really, really nice. On the bottom half here, you have your escape pods. The other side actually has all 4 of the escape pods, so as well represented. Very, very nice. I'm a big fan of the technique in the slope uses, because there's like barely any gaps, except for on the sides there's like some little gaps, but actually when you look at it on the side of the ship, there's like pretty much no gap. Overall, big fan of it. Even the actual roof part, it has like kind of levels there, and it kind of makes it a little bit different and unique. It doesn't look like so flat and bland, so I'm glad they went that route. Now, another big major part of the Korean Corvette is its 2 major blaster turrets in the front of the ship and that cylindrical tube area. which both move separately just by adjusting them to different sizes and stuff like that. They do kind of easily pop off, just a technique, but you know, once you get in the right position, it looks great. Onto the middle ship here, we have a lot going on. You kind of have this big middle area, which we'll get into that in a second, but then you also have your four-way like tube system, the two docking bay airlocks, whatever you want to call them, are on either side, so that's very, very nice. Technically, they are inaccurate as the red is meant to be on the outside and white in the middle. They just did it right in the middle. It still looks good, but technically, yes, it is inaccurate. On top of it, you have your radar dish, which is actually able to move, so you can kind of pose it into the way you want it. It's a full 360. Now, this middle part right here is also well done, very well shaped. That goes back into the engines, but we'll get there in a sec. First, talk about this middle part. This middle part, well, it doesn't look the worst. It does look a little choppy, I will admit, but these angles are kind of represented, but they're not fully represented because technically it's inaccurate. The shape doesn't look like this, I swear. These kind of are meant to angle upwards into the middle, so like each side of the angles will kind of have like a triangle shape there and go towards the middle. Obviously, I know this would be super hard to do, and it's also probably would like mess with the structure and all that, so it would be really hard to do. However, I just wish that they could have done that because this does look a little choppy, and on top of the fact of being too large, as the airlock and the actual mid part of the ship should be a lot closer to each other. So I think the two stud difference would fix that, but we'll talk about how to fix the set later. But that is definitely a little too large, and this is a bit choppy looking. Even the roof of the whole section does look very choppy. As nice as that little airlock section look, let's talk about the actual engines. These are a beast and a beauty to look at. My goodness. All 11 engines are represented accurately with the red orange thrust on the back. Very, very nice. With the gray cylindricals. This whole technique and everything in the engines was super cool to do, super fun to build. I am very happy with it. I am very satisfied, and it's just a cool technique. There's a lot more cool techniques used with like the sloping of this from the engines here, where they do lift up a lot. They kind of do move a lot. You'll figure that out if you're like playing around with it and swooshing around, that they will move. But obviously, it's something that you're most likely going to put on the shelf, as it is a display-oriented build. They look very, very nice, and the sloping is super well done. And the groupling on the side, also very well done. I really like that. Same with the top of the roof. For some reason, I'm not really a big fan of the jumper plates, but overall, I think they look good. The engines look good. The side grouping looks great, and the sloping is phenomenal. But yeah, just seeing the back of the Tantive IV with all those beautiful engines I will admit, the Tantive did space these out like to a very perfect amount. It's so well done. I'm so happy with this. I could stare at this for a while. To mention that the top design is the exact same on the bottom, so it's very, very cool. You don't have to worry about it being different, such like that. But the big major thing, kind of like a problem with the back of the ship, is that these four tiles are not printed. They are all stickers. They are 4 individual stickers, copied the same on the bottom, by the way. But they have that off-white color still. Like, the design is really, really good. It's great. As much as I would have wished for printed parts, I do understand why they use 4 different stickers. It would have been a hassle, but could LEGO do it? Yeah. Are they going to do it, especially for $80 for this set? No. Oh, they should have done it for $80. Now, never mind. I'm thinking that through. But the stickers don't look really that bad. It's just in some lighting, you can definitely see how it is that off-white, and that's something they could have fixed with, well, printed parts. However, let's talk about the Easter eggs and features of the set. I've pretty much already shown off all the features with the 2 laser turrets and the 6 other lasers. I guess you can take off an escape pod and launch it, but most people are definitely not going to do that. You can move the radar dish in the back, as you've already seen. But pretty much that's all you can really do with the features. Just different posing of guns and stuff like that. But what you might notice, though, is there's a few Easter eggs within the set. Technically, there are 2 major Easter eggs within the set. One, which you can visibly see from the outside, like I explained earlier, is the R2-D2 and C-3PO escape pod that they use to go to Tatooine. That is represented by 1 missing and kind of like a little stud there to represent that. But the other major one is actually hidden inside the main ship. When you're actually building it, that's when you get the experience. Easter egg is really hard to get to. once you've already built the model. However, it is just R2-D2 and C-3PO, along with Princess Leia giving R2-D2 the Death Star plans, and a little side scene. It's cute, it's nice that it's included. Now I can rant about the whole problem with the Easter eggs being shown in the instruction manuals and stuff like that, but that's a whole different side rant. But just so you're aware, they do point out the stuff and the features inside the instruction manual, and it's not really like, oh, I found this type of Easter egg. But regardless, it's still cool unless they did something. One of the biggest downsides about the set is that its price. It is $80, which is kind of absurd for even 654 pieces. If you're somebody who goes by price per piece, that would be about like $65 to $70, and it's still $10 more than even that. Besides the fact that there's only a few printed parts, the majority of them are stickers instead. There's no minifigs, and the list kind of goes on. I will admit, it is a very good model. It's great the way it is. I love the way it looks. However, I would definitely not say it to be $80. $60 is about the price it should have been, to be fair. But, you know, we all know Lego, how it is, and that Star Wars sales tax. But between $40 and $60, if you can find this set, I'd say get it. It definitely is a kind of a must-have. My overall thoughts on the set, I'd say 8.5 out of 10. Besides the price. With the price, obviously, it's going to drop it down to probably about a 7. This is honestly a really good set. Obviously, it's not perfect with the cockpit, and it's a little too long, especially in this middle section, which is kind of easy fixes. It just, overall, though, it's a really good model. It's extremely sturdy. You can play with it. Kids can play with it. It's really good for display because it actually looks great. There's a lot of cool posing features you can do. The stand looks nice. You even get a 25th anniversary brick, but you know, it's over now, but you still get the brick. And just overall, I'm very happy with the set. It was a fun build. It was a fun thing to do. I can't wait to put it on my shelf as much as I enjoy playing with it the short while time. But it's a really good set. I'm very satisfied with this, and I think 8.5 does it justice. I will mention real quick, as nice as this set looks, there's definitely some things that needs to be fixed. Like I mentioned earlier, the cockpit's a little too small. If they just did it by a stud more, I feel like this section would, the neck of it would actually look better too. So you still get that steep slope, but then you just get the bigger cockpit that would be in more proportion with the rest of the model. Now this middle section, like I said, is also too long, especially from the airlock or docking port, whatever you want to call it, an attachment to the middle section there. It's too far apart. I think just 2 studs shorter would have made it the more perfect length it needs to be, and it'd be in more proportion, like 1 to 2 studs there. So the bigger cockpit and that, and then also if they actually were able to fix like a triangular angle that goes into that, which would be correctly formed instead of this very choppy middle area look. If you just fix those 2 things, this would be the perfect set. Even the way it is, 8.5 out of 10. Even with its flaws, it's still a great set, a great must-have, and I am very glad they included it for the both Starship Collection and the 25th anniversary of LEGO Star Wars. Alright, Starlight Bricks, signing off.